So today I'm going to be talking about how our trellis broke. That's what the T was in the title. Um, Look at these grapes that are doing really well, but the trellis is putting strain on the grape there. Look at it, it's snapped, it rusted, and I have stuff growing on this, so I'm not sure what to do. So I'm gonna see, if you, sorry, sorry about that. I got a little tickle in my throat. um, I'm gonna see if you guys can help me come up with a solution. Mm, sorry about that. Okay, better now. What are these grapes? These grapes are doing really good. Look at those. This one I still have to cover, but I've covered a lot of them, but there's there's so many that it's taking quite some time. All right, guys, come on, welcome in. Tap that screen. Let me just Hey, my trellis here broke. It snapped. I have stuff growing on it, so I'm not sure what to do. I tried reinforcing it, here to support it, but then it broke. So I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. Make sure you double tap that screen. Double tap that screen to like this live. Out to your friends and family and all those who like gardening. So today, I'm talking about my broken trellis. I tried reinforcing it with some metal posts and everything, but then, because it snapped, it kind of bent, it snapped down there, but then now it's snapped down here because it's really windy today. It's like 20-mile-per-hour winds, and then it's putting stress on the scrape. I was worried when I came out here that it ripped out of the ground, but no, thankfully not. It's not, but it's kind of getting some strain on there. I'm not sure what to do. If you if you have any advice, please let me know, because I have stuff growing on this. And I have tendrils attached to the trellis and everything. Like this is attached to the trellis. This is, and it's wrapped around these. Hi, you know, let make sure you double tap that screen to like this live. Go ahead and answer my question, because this I tried reinforcing it because it snapped here, but that, I kinda just, put it back on there, kinda moved it back in there, even though, it's still broken, but I tried, fastening it with a zip tie, but then up here, it broke, it snapped, I have, and I have a honeysuckle growing it on here and everything, but it's how am I can't really easily swap this out, these are perennials, these are not annual vines and everything, these are perennial, and it's it would take hours, and it might damage the plant if I try to take it off here. So I'm not sure how am I gonna do this, because it's not like I can just maybe I could get another trellis and then put it under this one and then it can grow on that one. I'm not sure, So if you have, any suggestions, I, really appreciate it since this is kind of, a problem. It makes you double tap that screen to like the live and share it out to your friends. um a thing about ChatGPT, AI and everything, it's great and everything, but it's really bad for the environment and everything. It takes tons of water and energy. So, I try to avoid using AI if I can because, use tons of water, energy, and it is, people, the data companies and everything are knocking down. Oh, that's that's okay. No, don't worry about it. That's totally okay. I'm just curious though, how are you like watching the live? Like, can you do you, how do you know what I say? Yes, yes it is. This is a grapevine here. It is. Wait, look, let me show you the grapes. Hold on. Look, see? See here. See, I got some grapes here. And then I got, these ones I have protected protected. See, but I have some more mesh bags, I just haven't gotten to it yet. But like, if you have a suggestion, what should I do here? Because this broke here. I got this honeysuckle on this side, and then I got the grape on this side. See, and it's leaning here at like a really bad angle there. As you see, like it's also very weak here, like it rusted. So it snapped and everything. Make sure you double tap that screen to like this live, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Post gardening videos, how-tos, and all that. And, go ahead, answer my question because I'm not sure what to do. Like, I don't know. Could I weld it back together? But I mean, I don't really have the tools for that, or tape it or something. Or I don't think tape will do much, but like, 'cause, like, how much like, see, is that, like, a really bad angle right now? Do you see how it's, like, tilting over there? And it's, like, it's putting, like, stress on the grapevine, like, here, you see how it's kinda, like, leaning over and, like, kinda, like, tugging on it, and that's not good. I tried adding these metal posts here to support it from the wind, but it didn't work, like, to support on this side, but it broke right here, so I'm not sure what to do. The plant still seems to be intact. Yes, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, cause look at that. Yeah, the trellis broke, and I'm trying to, like, figure out how to, like, kinda, like, replace it or something. Cause these are perennial vines. Yes, it definitely is a problem. I'm not sure what to do, like, could I weld it back together? I mean, maybe I could get like another trellis, maybe like a bigger one, so that I could like put it over this one, and then the vines can like grow on it, and then I can maybe like anchor this one to like that taller one. And that might be a good idea. I'm not sure. What do you think? But look at all these grapes. Like my grapevine is doing really good. This is the third year. And, this is the first year that I'm getting grapes first year, struggled a bit with fungus, but, I took care of that with copper fungicide, which I posted a video on a while ago, but I might do another one on that, but we'll see. And then, yeah, and then the second year it grew a bunch, established its roots and, leaves and vines and everything. Then third year, it flowered and I'm getting some grapes, which are protected with some mesh bags. I have to get some more to, protect these other ones out here. But it's very windy out here, as you can see, which is why this, trellis flew over and everything. Hopefully, it doesn't get any worse, fingers crossed, and it doesn't, like, rip the grape out, because that would be a big problem, that could seriously damage it. I'm not sure what to do right now. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I can fasten this pole here. This pole is like, I don't know, $30 for this, but I don't know. It's kind of rip off, but er, see, maybe we could push. Maybe I have to change the angle of this. We'll see. Oh wait, yes. Okay, let's But I mean, it's kind of like supporting a little bit right now. But what if I put it in like another angle? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, just hold on to me. So like it's kind of putting all its weight on that right now. So like trying to like put it like so it can like pop it up. Yes, I am a gardener. Yes, I love to garden. That's why I post you know gardening videos. Tips and tricks and all that. And sometimes I just document my plants and everything. I also want to show you my windmill palm here, which is doing very good. I overwintered it, with leaves, frost cloth, and everything. You think, like, I mean, how far could I cut the grapevine, and could I do that also to the honeysuckle? I think maybe. I mean, we'll see. I'll do some research, look around for some options. But look at my windmill palm, which I overwintered, with leaves, some frost cloth and everything, and it's doing really good. See, it's putting out some new leaves there. It's looking pretty good. I got some seashells, and some sand here. Looks very nice. I got my rose. Oh, and these are my sugar baby watermelon and then sugar baby watermelon bush. Let's see if I have any flowers yet. Oh, it looks like there's some flower buds coming up. Oh yeah, there's ones right there. Yes, well, you can. Yes, yeah. Well, I can help you, the best to take care of your plants. If you have like, any like videos, tips that I want to like do. Oh yes, I have a banana tree over over here. Well, actually bananas, they aren't actually trees. They're called trees because what's yeah, well, people call them trees because I guess they kind of look like trees, but bananas are actually a giant herb or herb, however you say it. But look, see, this is doing really good. This is a dwarf Cavendish banana, which right now I have it, in a pot. It's doing pretty good. Putting out some new leaves. This is my you a dwarf Cavender. You mean like dwarf Cavendish banana? Yes. If you have any tips, or any ideas on what I should do about my broken trellis here. I'm not sure, like if maybe if I put a bigger, taller trellis over this trellis, so that the grapes, can grow and the honeysuckle can grow onto that one, then I can like maybe like strap this one to the taller one or something. I don't know. I'm gonna brainstorm some ideas this weekend. I'm gonna, ask around and stuff. Nice. Do you live in like a tropical place, or do you like just like you have to bring them my inside my house? So hopefully my grapevine, stays on there. You know, and everything, and make sure it doesn't break any further. Maybe if I reposition this one, well, this, it isn't doing much good holding up this. But we'll see. Maybe if I put this in there, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna damage it, so I'll leave it for now once it's not so windy, and I'll figure something out. So look at that. Yes, don't worry. Gardening is like, sometimes yes, I love wearing Crocs. They're nice, easy to slip on and everything. Great for or just going outside. Well, I don't know if it's great for gardening since sometimes I do get some dirt in them, but I just shake them out. But yeah, gardening, sometimes, you mess up and like sometimes the plants are just, I don't know, like, I don't know how to say, but like sometimes it's just, it's hard. Like sometimes you mess up and sometimes, do nice. Nice. Yeah. But I guess I should have maybe, I don't know, like, like, what's it, like, maybe I should have, like, sprayed the trellis with something, like, to, like, keep it from rusting, but I didn't do that. I was gonna maybe paint it, but it's kind of hard to do with the plants on here, but it's also, you know, I'm not sure, if it would be good for the plants or not. You know, and tell me if any of you have, some suggestions on how I should fix my trellis problem, because I got stuff growing on here. So we'll see if I can figure something out. We'll see. I mean, maybe in like the fall or something, I can work on it a bit more when there's not a bunch of leaves and all that in the way. Yeah, you do. Yeah, keep at it, and some plants, more more difficult to take care of than others. Like, some easy ones are like spider plants, since, those are pretty hard to kill, or like snake plants, those are pretty easy to take care of. But some are really hard to take care of. Some are medium hard to take care of. You know, you just have to like search it up. Start with some like easy to take care of plants, then work your way up. For like watering, when this you gotta be sure the water, if it's still wet, then then don't give it water. Galvanized steel. Yeah, probably like galvanized steel, or aluminum or like something coated or aluminum doesn't rust. So like cattle panels. What do those look like? Cattle panels. Is that like do they like kind of like the fence around like cattle, I guess, right? But I mean, yeah, you should use probably like